So, I've talked numerous times how the popularity of anime will eventually be its own downfall if the integrity is not kept intact. Concerns that this article brings to light, mentioning there's billions to be made in the coming future for the medium, and most of this article I do agree with, until I came across a line saying, fans should never gatekeep the medium from others. Now, I've radically changed my position on gatekeeping. In the past, gatekeeping has always been presented in a negative light, something you shouldn't do, like it's sinful, that if you want your hobby or interest to grow, you should welcome more of the public in because that will allow it to flourish. Wrong. If anyone with half a brain has been paying attention to the last decade or so, you would have noticed the opposite occurs. With the cliche examples being Star Wars, where in the Acolyte the Force isn't even the Force anymore. Marvel with Disney constantly swapping and changing the characters' origins to fit the modern audience. Lord of the Rings, I really feel bad for that fandom. I'm a casual when it comes to the Lord of the Rings, but man, I'm so glad I grew up with that trilogy. Those Peter Jackson movies still hold up to this day, but wouldn't dare watch that garbage Amazon did with it. Batman, where Penguin is now gender swapped for a woman, like there aren't already iconic women characters in that series. It's a shame because I remember watching the 90s series with my dad and brother. Like that was something we did together. We love Batman and we're disappointed that Amazon would do that to an iconic villain like Penguin. And there's many more. I could keep going. The list seems infinite at this point. So, due to common sense pattern recognition, gatekeeping isn't only preferable, but a necessity if you want to keep what you love preserved. You just don't allow anyone to come in and change what you've been enjoying your whole life. Like, there's certain fundamental tropes or humor of anime that you may understand, but when presented to an outsider, they get offended like it's World War III. For instance, I know people who just watch Naruto, DBZ to Super, or JJK, but they don't necessarily watch anime, if you know what I mean. So when the algorithm recognizes they watch these, it suggests them other anime content to their feed, to where something like Sumasho, or If My Wife Becomes an Elementary School Student, they rush to social media with a knee-jerk reaction saying, "Oh my god, is this what anime's about? This is what you guys watch? You all are all PDF files." And it makes you roll your eyes and facepalm like, oh my god, who let you in? Because if you watch that anime, you realize how heartwarming that story is, and it might make you shed a tear or two, especially if you lost somebody close to you. Or something like Mushoku Tensei that deals with reincarnation, because that's a huge part of Japanese history due to the influence of Buddhism. But when these tourists get outraged on Twitter, my concern is it may signal to these Japanese creators, making them say, oh wow, they really get offended by this. Maybe we should change our creative process because we're becoming more dependent on the Western dollar, therefore fucking it up for all of us. I love Mushoku Tensei. That last season and those last few episodes hit deep, especially when it dropped on Father's Day. If you know, you know. Rude's character development is something of joy to witness, but those who only watch JJK can't fathom there's anime that exists separate from that. And so that brings me to this article. Sakamoto Days has anime fans saying Demon Slayer JJK have rotted people's minds. And this adds to my recent video that this is the last golden era of anime, that due to the popularity of Demon Slayer and JJK, which I love, it's starting to shift the focus to gear towards what a casual fan wants from anime versus what an anime fan wants from anime. And I have a video going further in detail on this subject I'll leave in the description and at the end of this video. Now, Sakamoto Days I went in with no expectation and I enjoyed it, but there were fears from some that it wouldn't meet the high quality animation of something like a JJK fight scene, which I think is a horrible expectation to go into anime with. Now, I love JJK and I think it's beautifully animated, but if good animation is all that it offered, I would have dropped it by the third episode. But turns out, the story is really fucking good. Now, Sakamoto Days has some good action in it as well, with the animation being good too. I really like the coloring in it. But beyond that, the story and characters are really interesting. I also find it hilarious and wasn't expecting to laugh as hard as I did when watching the first episode. Even seeing certain scenes with him and his family showing what this character values most, that's what keeps the show grounded and keeps me watching. You know, I wasn't aware of this ever-growing faction of people that are looking to consume anime in quicker and faster ways, watching it at 1.5 or 2 point whatever speed. Because why are people watching it like it's a homework assignment or a task that needs to be done quickly to maximize productivity? Like, why are you going into this like Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, solving a complicated math equation?
Do you like apples?
Yeah.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
This is art, something to be processed with the purpose of enjoyment and not something to hurry up and get through it. Now you may ask, what do you care how people watch it? I wouldn't. Problem is, these people's methods are being considered on how anime is created in the future, contributing to the TikTok brain low attention span that has sites like Crunchyroll thinking, how can we create short form anime for the TikTok generation? That's not a coincidence. I was watching a podcast where the person was playing devil's advocate of why someone would want to speed watch an anime that a 2-minute walk scene may be unnecessary to watch if you know where they're going and what they'll be saying. But in the 2-minute walk scene, there may be nuances to be picked up on, like what are the characters' facial expressions or reactions to the dialogue being spoken? Does their fist clench? How are they walking? What music plays when their tone switches to add to the mood of the scene? These small details are important because they add up. I remember taking a screenwriting course years ago, and the teacher emphasized that whatever's in the script or a movie, the writer or director intended for it to be there, no matter how minuscule it may seem, regardless if you pick up on it or not. You ever watch a movie, then watch it years later again, and you realize or see something you didn't the first time, and you say something like, oh, now that makes sense. That's why a 2-minute walk scene is important, and that's why I care. So when I begin to see casual fans being prioritized over people willing to pay top dollar and invest their time, that's concerning. And this goes for any fandom or medium. Like I said earlier with Lord of the Rings, even as a casual, it infuriates me to see Amazon dismissing true hardcore Tolkien fans who have invested themselves into that fandom for decades be looked over with disdain. All because Amazon wants to use the Lord of the Rings name to bring in casual, destroying Tolkien's work because they don't see it as something to be preserved, but only as a product to be sold and delivered. And that's why I changed my position on gatekeeping.
Don't touch it! All right.
But that's all I have for this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you feel the same? And have also changed your position on gatekeeping? If you haven't already, check out my music on Spotify, link in the description below. If you love those Samurai Champloo lo-fi mellow boom bap vibes, then my music is definitely for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Free think. Peace.